Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. We need to have a chat. We need to have a chat. And some of you aren't going to like what I have to say, but that's all right. That's all right, because I'm going to say it anyway. There is a 33-year-old woman by the name of Karshanda Hatter. Her 9-year-old son, for 2 years, apparently, he has been bullied at school. And apparently his mom, in an effort to protect him, she was walking him home from school when a group of children surrounded them and beat them, brought them to the ground, and continued to beat them. Now, the average person who has never been kicked in the stomach or kicked in the head or punched. A lot of people have never been punched in the face or in the stomach. It hurts. It hurts if you get punched once. It hurts. I've actually seen guys break their knuckles from punching somebody in the mouth. It hurts. And it's inexcusable. Now, your definition of bullying and mine could be different, because I grew up on the premise that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. And so I'm of the premise that we should be raising our kids with that in mind. Because I don't think words are bullying. What happened to her and her 9-year-old son, that is the severest form of bullying. And yes, I was made fun of a lot when I was a kid. I was short, fat, I had braces, I had glasses. I was in a high school reading level when I was in 4th grade. So yes, I did get made fun of. I did not consider that bullying. I considered it bullying when someone laid hands on me. But never in my wildest dreams would I think that a bunch of grade school kids would bring down an adult and a child and beat them. They were taken to the hospital in serious condition. But the mayor of Chicago, and the Democrats back him, but he refused help from President Trump to bring the violence in Chicago to an end. Somebody's got to do something. This is inexcusable. A little boy and his mother got beaten up as a family together. Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. And I don't know who the father is or if he's around or what, but I tell you what, if that was my wife and my child, somebody'd have to pay. Obviously, I wouldn't be going to beat up a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds, but their fathers, yeah, I might be talking to them. I might be having a little discussion with them. I might be having a big discussion with the principal of the school. I might be having a big discussion with the police and the city council and the mayor himself, because she had been trying to get this problem solved for 2 years, and now they ended up in the hospital in serious condition. If you live in Chicago area, you need to step up to the plate, and you need to make your voices heard, because they've got to do something. Something's got to be done. You can't just have people going out and hurting people. And this is another thing with our society today. Let's talk politics in general, okay? People have different views on different issues. And the way it used to be done was the Democrats and the Republicans and the independents and whoever else would sit down and they would come to a compromise. They would sit down, come to a compromise, and figure out a solution. But the way our politics has gotten is every party is it's my way or the highway. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. And it's damn sure not supposed to be rioting in the streets and people getting hurt and people getting killed and businesses being robbed and looted and damage to property and statues being torn down and Christ knows what else. But it's unacceptable in a civilized society, which is what we used to be. And yes, I'm going to blame this on the Democrat Party because it sure as fuck ain't the Republicans out doing all this stuff. It's the Democrats. And if you want to say, I hate President Trump, and you want to go stand on a sidewalk with a sign saying that, that's fine. But don't cross the line. Don't go out there with a sign that says, I hate President Trump and he deserves to be unalived. No. That's not acceptable. That's called a felony. Okay? That used to get you put in jail. I don't know why the fuck it doesn't now. It should. You don't threaten the President of the United States, or the Vice President, or a congressman, or a senator. But the President for damn sure, because that one will get you thrown in jail. I don't know if the others will or not. They should. They should. Because they're elected officials. And we, the people, put them in office. And nobody likes it when their candidate doesn't win an election and get put into office. None of us like it. But you know what? We go, gosh, I hope they don't screw it up too bad. Beyond repair or whatever. And then you move on with your day. Because we're grown-ups, allegedly. And we don't fucking cry over the loss of an election. We don't. We just hope for the best. And next election, if they do a bad job, then the next election, hopefully we get somebody else in that does a better job. But if they do a good job, but a lot of people now, it doesn't matter what Trump does because he's done a lot of good stuff. But with a lot of people, it doesn't matter. He could come up with the cure. He could get the cure for cancer. He could get all kinds of stuff going that's really good for this country. And people are still going to hate him no matter what because he's Donald Trump. Which makes no sense. They actually had a psychologist the other day. I heard him interviewing a psychologist. They actually have a Trump derangement syndrome diagnosis now. It's true. Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, is a real thing now. That's gotta make you proud if you're one of the ones that have it. Your parents must be so proud. Your grandparents are probably spinning in their goddamn graves, wondering what the hell's wrong with you. Because that's not the America that they grew up in. We are America, and we are a nation of laws. And the people that are here illegally, it is too bad that people have been here for 20 years or whatever, illegally, and they built a life here. But you know what? They came here illegally, and now they got caught. And now they got to go back to where they came from. But if they do it if they do it honestly, if they call them up and say, hey, you know what, we're deporting ourselves, then they have a chance. They told them, if you deport yourself, we'll get you in legally again. But if we got to come get you and throw you out, then you're not coming back. You know? And it's not fair to those who came here legally. Prior to the Biden administration, this country was taking in legally over 800,000 immigrants a year. Legally. Now, we can only take so many people in this country. And I'm sorry, you know it and I know it. The only reason that they opened that wall like they did is so they could get more votes in their districts, you know? And that's not how we win elections in this country, is it? We win elections by having the best ideas. And yes, I know there's some gerrymandering going on right now and redrawing districts and stuff like that, but they're doing it. They've done it forever, and they're doing it in Democrat states also. They're doing it all over. So that's politics. That's neither here nor there. It's politics. That's how politics is done. So anyway, but yes, we've got to stop the violence nationwide. We've got to stop the riots. We've got to stop all this freaking whining about every single thing. But we definitely have to stop the violence. Children getting hurt, getting ganged up on, and their parents. When I was a kid, if a parent said, get the hell away, you got the hell away. But these kids are perfectly comfortable attacking adults now. How are you raising your kids? How are you raising your children? What moral compass are you using for these children to not have any respect for anybody? Anybody. Where is our country headed? Think about that. Where is our country headed when the children don't even respect the adults? When children and adults don't expect the police? And when the government, local or state, doesn't want to protect the citizens of that area that they govern. Illinois, you guys, and California too, you need to think about this. President Trump wants to come in and stop the violence in your area because it's out of control. The Democratic leaders in these areas aren't, cashless bail. They charge them and then they put them out on the street for whatever the charge is. You know what? That young Ukrainian gal down in North Carolina, that guy was out on cashless bail. The guy that killed her. He should have been in jail. He wasn't. Instead, he was out killing her. You know, when I was a child, they had a couple places in South Dakota. One of them was the Youth Forestry Camp out in the Black Hills. And the other was basically kiddie prison. It was down in Plankinton, South Dakota. And I hung around a rough group growing up there, and we all knew not to screw up too damn much, or we'd end up at one of those two places. If you were really bad, you ended up out at the Youth Forestry Camp. That was the hard labor stuff. I think we need to bring stuff like that back. And there were places around in other states that had boot camp for kids. If you were a screw up, they would send you to boot camp, and it was just like it sounds. It was just like in the military. So something to think about, folks. Be safe out there. Let's start trying to be kind to one another. And yes, like I say, if you're in an area where there's a lot of violence, support what the president is trying to do, because he's doing it for you, the average citizen. It doesn't matter what party you're in, he's trying to get it to where it's safe to walk in your neighborhood. And there's a lot of neighborhoods. I ran Chicago for 8.5 years. There's a lot of neighborhoods back then that weren't safe to walk in. Today, they're really not. Be safe and be kind to each other. We'll talk to you next time.